Hey everyone, I'm Noah and welcome to Noah Does Coding. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to install Xcode Command Line Tools through 3 different methods and how to use them, and how to prove for certain that it actually worked. And by the end, you can also compile and run a small Swift program using nothing but the terminal. No 12 gigabyte download required. So before we dive into installing it, what actually is Command Line Tool? Well, when I ran this command in my terminal here, this pop-up with the XC run error, it can mean one of 2 completely different things, and picking the wrong one costs you real time and real disk space. Command line tools is things like git, clang, make, and the Swift compiler. The actual binaries every tool calls underneath, nothing more. Full Xcode, which you can install for free from the App Store, as we can see here, is all of that, plus the IDE, plus the iOS simulators, plus everything else in the box. So the simple version is the under gigabyte version versus roughly about a dozen. If you're here because you tried to use things like Git or Python 3 in your terminal and it asks you to install something, this is almost always the one you actually need, and you don't have to download the 12 gigabyte version to get it. One setting decides which of the 2 your terminal is actually talking to. You can use the xcode-select -p. And this will actually print which one you're using. And this is the mechanism behind everything in this video. So let's go ahead and actually install it. Just as a note, the active developer directory is the one setting from a second ago. When we use xcode-select, this is the tool that reads it and can change it. And the command line tools package is the thing it can point at instead of the Xcode.app. So for the first install method, you've probably already encountered this one. If you run any dev command on Mac with nothing installed, so if you were to do git, make, or even cc, macOS itself pops the install dialog. You can click install, accept the license, and download in the background. That's it. There's no terminal command needed for this path at all. The second path is to trigger it yourself on purpose without waiting for something else to ask. You can do so with the xcode-select one more time. Then we're going to do space -- install. Now, I already have this installed. However, this is the same dialog in the same download. This is the one to run if you're setting up a brand new Mac before you've even typed a single git command or anything else within it. Now, the third version is for one specific situation. Let's say that the dialog method needs a live internet connection in Apple's own installer UI, and neither is guaranteed on every single machine. Let's say you have a locked down work from Mac, an offline VM, or you need a specific older version to match an older Mac OS. For that, Apple actually publishes the package directly as a downloadable installer. You can head on over to developer.apple.com. You can sign in with any Apple ID as well. You don't need the paid developer membership for this one. Any free Apple ID will work. From there, you'll want to navigate to the downloads. You can see the latest releases, but you should be able to scroll down and see the command line tools, view downloads. I'll also put these links in the description below, and you can see all of the different versions, as well as you can filter. Now, just as a note, there are SDK and system requirements. I'll also include this in the version below, but you can see the different supports, the Swift compilers, based on what version you're planning on using. But once you have the one you want, you should be able to view the details and download the .dmg and install it from there. Okay, but how do we know that we already have it installed? Well, you could do what I do when you already have something installed and try to install it again, and you'll probably get that error message. We can look at 3 commands, and this will take about 30 seconds, and this way you'll know for certain you have it installed. The first one is xcode-select one more time. We're going to do the space -p. This shows us the active developer directory again. On a Mac with only command line tools installed, this instead reads the library developer command line tools. Either output that you get here is totally a pass. If you get no output or an error, this is a fail case. If you want to also check for your Git, you can do the git -- version. For me, I'm on 250.1. You can also check clang with clang space -- version. So I have a real version number from both, which is not an error, not a prompt to install something else. That's the actual tool chain present and answering. So it's done. Every dev command on this machine now resolves to something real, which means the only thing left to check is whether that's true with Xcode completely out of the picture. So let's actually compile some Swift code with no Xcode. So let's actually run one file from nothing, and one question before I type it. This machine has full Xcode installed too, and in a couple steps I'm going to lock the compiler to the command line tools only with Xcode.app completely out of reach. So what do you think is going to happen if I try to run a Swift file in my terminal? Does it still need Xcode.app to exist somewhere on disk to work at all, or does it not care? Well, the answer is it doesn't care, and here's the proof. I'm just going to quickly create a new Swift file, and I can use the touch command for that, and let's put it on our desktop. And we'll just call it something like hello.swift. We can see it appears on our desktop. You could then use any of your text editors here, even if you want to use Visual Studio Code or whatever you'd like for this. From here, let's just add one print, and we'll just say hello world, CLI tools are working. Go ahead and save that. Let's then copy the path name. You can right click and hold Option on your Mac to then copy as path name. We can then use the Swift command and paste that path. We'll press return. We can see a print statement. Hello world, CLI tools are working. So we know we can run Swift in the terminal. However, when we think about this, we still haven't answered the question. So let's actually pin that developer directly to the command line tools path for the commands. So the Xcode app is invisible to the compiler, even though it's still sitting there in the applications. So the first command I'm going to do is to just have our developer directory, and then also run the Swift command of hello, and we're just giving it the name of hello. And now that it's isolated, I'm going to use the developer directory and call upon the name of hello. We can still see that the hello world CLI tools are working. Perfect. So this compiled and it ran real Swift, even though it's just a print statement, and the Xcode app never entered the picture once. So if that's the video you needed, that's genuinely it. You're done. If videos like this one are useful, well, the subscribe button's right there, and I typically upload once a week. I even have a video with more CLI tips and tricks in the pipeline, so make sure you don't miss that one. Otherwise, what happens when it's installed, but still a little bit broken? So as we even saw when I had done my xcode.select -- install, it'll tell you, hey, this is already installed. But what if your git still fails? For example, if I ran this git command here, we can see that I'm missing the developer directory path, right? That's not necessarily not installed. It's the active developer directory pointing at a path that doesn't exist anymore, usually because an old Xcode app got deleted and nothing ever told this setting to point somewhere else. You can always use that xcode-select with the --p. This way, you can always find out where your application Xcode app contents developer's at. So on this machine, that path is real, so it resolves fine. That override 2 seconds ago was scoped to one command and never touched the actual setting. If yours prints a path and then git version still errors, that path is the broken one. And the fix is actually just one line. You can use the sudo xcode-select --s, and you can choose where you want to go. So I would put it in the library /developer/command line tools. We can even see that pop up there. Now you could swap the path for the application's Xcode app contents developer, the one that we had right up here. Instead, if you do have full Xcode installed and just want the pointer to be restored to it, once you've done that, you would run your xcode-select p again afterwards. You'd have a real path back to confirm it. So next time you're setting up a fresh Mac or working a teammate through their first one, this is the whole checklist. But it's only for command line tooling. The moment your project actually needs a simulator, signing identity, or App Store build, that's full Xcode, not this. So thanks for watching. If this was helpful, like, comment, subscribe, dream big, code bigger, and we'll see you in the next one.